All right, going live in three, two, one. Well, this is Olivia on Air. This is episode number 22. Those numbers, they keep on climbing. Every time I look at it, I go, wow, we've done that many episodes. That's really cool. So how do you feel about that?
It's exciting. I like it a lot. It feels like it's been a long time, but also not a long time. It's weird.
Yeah,
I feel like I forget. It's like I look at the number and I'm like, well, it's kind of low, but then I forget it's like 22 weeks, which is a lot of weeks. So,
yeah, yeah. I look at the number and my first thought is like it's really high, but then you're right. Then you go, well, it's low, but then it's high, but it's like it's just fun. I just realized it's been pretty fun doing this all the time. So I enjoy doing this show with you, and I hope you enjoy this as well, and I hope our audience is enjoying it as well. So
oh yeah, I think it's definitely a mutual enjoyment for everyone involved because who wouldn't love listening to this? I don't know. This is amazing stuff. I don't know who wouldn't like it. I do enjoy watching movies and then talking about them. It's fun.
the as far as anything else going on in your world that's our viewers would like to know.
Well, if anyone really likes the iced chai tea latte from Starbucks, I figured out how to make it. It's There's probably a lot of people who have figured out how to make it. Um, but there is this tea brand. I think everyone who's had tea before probably knows it, at least in America. It's called Twinnings or Twinings. It's that
Okay.
brand of extra spicy chai tea. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, sorry. Is this exclusive to Starbucks, or is this more of a national, or can you get it somewhere else too?
The brand of tea is like at grocery stores and stuff.
Oh, it is. Okay, okay, I
Yeah.
misunderstood. Okay.
Um, but it like the way that you can make it at home can taste exactly like the iced chai tea latte. You just put three of those tea bags in a little mason jar, and you put boiling water in, and you let it steep, and you put like a tablespoon of honey, and then you let it steep for a while, and then you put it in the fridge, and then it gets iced, of course. And then you take the tea bags out and you put ice in it, and I use almond milk, and it tastes exactly like the iced chai tea latte, and it's delicious. So
Hmm. I've never tried. I've never tried any of that, to be honest. It sounds kind of interesting. I obviously I'd try anything once, if it's just if I just to see what it tastes like. As far as like the taste, how would you describe that? I mean, is there anything else that it would equate to? I'm just kind of curious what it would.
chai tea is it's like spicy. It's like very much a fall flavor of tea to me anyway. It's like very fall winter tea. I know it's a black tea, and it tastes kind of like nutmeg and cinnamon and stuff like that. It's very spicy. It's nice.
Hmm, okay. Well, I guess at this point I'm a loss because I would have to I would need to actually test it to go to see what it's to actually give my opinion of it. But it does sound interesting, that's for sure. So
It's really nice. I like it a lot. I think everyone should try it once.
okay. Well, the as far as the as far as the we were talking about this before we went live. You wanted to talk about your friend's cat. Would you like to describe this?
Yeah, I don't know. Did you get those emails? I just now sent you
Yes.
emails of the pictures of the cat. So I told my best friend, I mailed her the picture that I painted of her cat Jasmine. And uh, I told her that she gets the when she gets the picture in the mail to show Jasmine, Mr. Kitty, the picture. And so she did. And then she sent me these wonderful pictures of Mr. Kitty and his fat cat portrait of himself. And she said that he wouldn't let her take it from him. And he knew that it was him. And he also really liked the portrait. So
That's
that's
pretty
really
funny.
great.
The oh goodness, yeah, he really likes that. Let's see the other ones. Oh yeah, yeah, he's not letting anyone have that one. Yep.
Isn't that so adorable? Oh, I couldn't ask for more.
How old is the kitty?
I'm not sure. I don't think she's exactly sure of how old he is because they found he's a street cat. So
Oh goodness. Okay. The and he's actually I mean, he actually likes people. That's quite interesting. My dad several years when I was a child, he brought back a cat from he found on the street, and they like she actually liked us, but eventually for some reason we had to get rid of her. I'm just curious. Is I mean this cat was not as nice looking as the one that my dad was not as nice as your friend's cat. What I mean by that is, one of the ears had been cut off and her tail had been cut off. So
Oh,
he felt sorry for her, I guess, and that's why he brought her home. So we had to eventually get rid of her. It was too much of a conflict because we had two other cats to begin with, and it was just way too many to have at the house. So, but
makes sense.
she yeah, she was very friendly though. She was kind of airheaded. So if she didn't seem to want to play, but she was very friendly. She just didn't know how to. She just like if we put something in front of her, she just kind of ignored it, and she just wasn't really attentive to as like most cats are. Like most cats will dart at something. She would just sit there like nothing was in front of her. But she was friendly though. So
Oh, yeah, I think Mr. Kitty is a reformed street cat. I think that maybe they got him at a younger age or something, but
mm. I was just curious about that because I encountered a cat one time. I used to have a park a car, one of my cars in a storage lot. It was actually a parking garage of an apartment building, and when I went down, there was a cat in the walking around in the stairwell. So I walked over to it just to be friendly to it, and I tried to pet it, and it wanted nothing to do with me. And I realized that's what my first experience with dealing with a feral cat. So when I see a street cat, my first thought is it feral? Because if it's feral, it's not going to like human people at all. It's going to run away. So,
right.
and obviously this cat seems to like people, so that's a good sign, I guess.
Yeah, and he definitely likes his portrait. I painted another one, so I'm gonna send it to this cat again, and I'm gonna see if he likes that one. That's so adorable. Oh my goodness.
It was funny there. It looks like he's not only does he like it, he likes to sleep on it there. So,
Yeah, it's funny because if I tried to paint a picture of my dog and give it to them, my dog Sammy, who's more gentle, would probably just lick it, and it's watercolor, so that would ruin it. But my dog Beverly she's a little rat, honestly. I love her, of course, but she is a little tornado, really, and she would probably try to eat it. So
mm. Did I tell you about the story about my uncle used to do this years ago? He would take a picture of a piece of like some sort of food item, like maybe chicken, whatever, and he'd put it next to the cat, and the cat would lick it. The joke was that the cat thought it was food and it was trying to eat the food that was in the picture. What was actually going on was that the plastic. This is like an older style photograph where you had to develop the photograph in a dark room because my dad's family they're all photographers. So he would develop it, and the coating that was on the developed picture was actually what the cat was sensing. They sensed it as food. They smelled it, and they were actually licking the plastic that was on the picture. So,
that's
and
funny.
I experienced that with one of my other cats. Apparently, the plastic that's in the plastic bags that you get if you go to the grocery store is made of a similar kind of material. Because I had a cat that would, if I left plastic bags on the kitchen floor or something, she would walk over and just start licking the bag over and over and over, just like that. And eventually the noise is just, if I was sleeping, it would irritate me. I had to walk over and pick up the bags and put them somewhere where she couldn't get them. But
That's great. Cats are funny.
yeah, and but yeah, it's if you ever, I don't know if you can still do that, but it's one of those funny things you want to have a little fun fun with your friends. If you can find the kind of, if you have a picture that has that kind of material on it, you can do that. Like that was years ago. I don't even know where you would do that anymore. Most digital pictures are probably nowadays would be put on something else. I'm sure it wouldn't work work that well. So
Yeah, maybe the cat. Maybe he liked the ingredients in the paint that I used.
mm, that's a good one. Yeah, that's
I mean, it
interesting.
doesn't really smell like anything, but maybe they can sense something that I can't.
Hmm. I do know that before, this is getting slightly off topic, but close in the same area. My oldest cat, about a year before he died, he was 19. He he would actually he couldn't. I would put food out for him, and he didn't know where the food was, and I was getting really frustrated because he was starving and he wouldn't eat the food. I finally took him to the vet, and it turns out the vet told me he had a sinus issue, and if the cats can't smell their food, then they can't eat it. I didn't know that. So
That's interesting and very good to know.
yeah, and I forget what I did, but eventually he was eating. But I mean, he was at that point he was really on his last legs anyway, so he was really frail and skinny. But I tried to do as best I could. You know, a 19-year-old cat, that's like way up there. So
Yeah, that is
but
a long time. That's good though.
yeah. And but yeah, it's just so frustrating because I put the food out, and immediately after I put the food out, he's like walking up to me saying meow meow meow, like give me more food. I'm like, I just put it out there. So let's take a look at our question from last week. I believe do you color by number? Is that the right one?
Yes.
Okay. So we got a average response there. Actually, was that? I can't see that. Let me click here. How many votes is that?
1.5K.
Is one? Okay, so it's 1,500. Okay, thanks. I was having problems reading that. Okay. Yeah. Do you color by number? If so, what medium? And to leave a comment. Overwhelmingly, 68% said yes, they do color by number. That's interesting. I didn't know that many people colored by number.
That's fun.
But then we got 21% that said they don't know what that is. So
That's fair also.
7% with no, and 5% with I don't care. Let's take a look at the comments here. I'm not sure what we got, but 2 10s. I'm not sure what that means.
Neither do I.
Looks like one person left 10. Not only that, it's got 3 thumbs up, so I'm not sure what that means. It means something. And what's medium? And more 10 and number comments. Okay, I'm not sure.
Geez.
Yeah, so sorry. The comments on this one are just not that interesting, except for Bart. The other ones are just kind of, I'm not sure where they're going with those. So
a medium is what form, or I guess it's what materials you're using to create art. What I mean by this is like what medium, like are you doing it with like acrylic paint, watercolor? Are you doing it with like on your phone? Digital media, that's a medium. Digital design, digital art. So that's what I meant. Medium could be crayons, it could be a thread and needle or something like that. That's the medium.
right. It might be. It's not. I'm not trying to insult the commenter. Was that Bart? Is that his name? Yeah. Is it Bart? Oh, no. Yeah, Bart ST looks like. It could be because maybe it's it would be maybe it's because it's something that would be more common in the English language. So maybe someone in another language may not understand what the word medium meant. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to be rude, but that's what my first thought is why someone might not know what that means.
There might not be a direct translation, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, alrighty. Well, we appreciate everyone for participating. I wish there was more comments on this one. So just numbers all over the place. So let's see. Now we have a question for this week. I'm going to go ahead and post it. Do you want to read it while I post it here?
The question for this week is, do you like cooking or baking? And then why or why not?
That's a pretty good one.
I feel like maybe I've asked something like this before, but not exactly this. And I know that I like both pretty equally, and some people like cooking a lot more, and other people like baking a lot more. Also, in the comments of our like live thing, Neil says "oi" twice, so I just wanted to shout out "oi" back. But yeah, some people like cooking and some people like baking, like one more than the other. So just thought it'd be interesting.
Now, when I was younger, there used to be a guy, getting off the subject of baking, you brought up the term "oi." There was a guy from Australia. His name was Jocko. You may or may not have seen these, but he used to do a commercial for Energizer. Have you ever seen those older Energizer commercials?
From like what year?
I would say like the late 80s, maybe early 90s.
I don't know. Probably not. I wasn't watching YouTube back then or TV back then because I was not alive. So. Yeah, Neil said "oi."
Oi. Let me see if I can bring up Jocko. The reason I bring it up is because Jocko. I should be able to find this. There's got to be something on here. he would actually say "oi" in his commercials a lot. Is it Jocko or Jocko? There you go. I'm bringing it up right now. Okay, here he is. There he is. This guy is I'll play 1987. Yes, it was late 80s. Or let's see here. Okay, can you hear this?
What's the longest lasting battery you can buy? I'm getting surpriser! You energizer! Sound surpriser! You energizer! Oh, it's up to
Okay, you can hear the oi in the
Yeah.
background. So it was a common thing.
you energizer was best!
Anyway.
Lasted longer than all the rest! Too right! You energizer! You energizer! You surpriser! You surpriser!
Laboratory tests prove in most devices, Energizer lasts longer than any other battery. You Energizer. Bye.
Yeah. There we go. So I had to, he's once you see Jocko, it's one of those things you just never forget. So, and oi, every time I hear oi, I always think that. So, and there was actually one of my friends, we used to, because of this commercial, whenever we try to get each other's attention, we'd say oi back in oi, oi. So I guess it's a common Australian thing. I'm not sure. So maybe someone could maybe let us know. So he was definitely from Australia. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I watch a few Australian YouTubers, so they say it every now and then.
okay. So does that look good? Ready? I'm going to go ahead and post that. Did you want to add
Yes.
anything else to it? Okay. There we go. All right. So we'll come back to that one, see what kind of response. That's actually a pretty good one. So you like cooking or baking? I took when I was in high school, they made everyone take a home ec class. I took that. I appreciated it, but never really got into it. So I can't really say. I do make scrambled eggs every day. That's about it. I did other than that. No, I'm not really much into cooking or baking, unfortunately. So I wouldn't really. I really couldn't answer the question. So I guess I could say no. So
That's fair. I feel like there's so many different hobbies now. It's easy to like not really get into cooking and get into, something totally different. So
well, let's see. Our movie for this week was Freaky Friday, and we picked the one from 2003. So not to be confused with the one that came out. I looked this up before we went live. There was actually 4 movies called Freaky Friday.
how many?
4, according to
4?
yeah,
Wow.
and all based on the. See, I'll look them up real quick. Yeah, one came out in '76, starring Jodie Foster. I'll bring this up so we can look at it. At the same
Yeah, I
time.
watched the first one and the one with Lindsay Lohan. So
All right, let me bring this up here. Here we go. So we have Freaky Friday from 1976. Then there was 2 made-for-TV movies as well. So
oh, okay. Oh yeah. There was a more recent. I think that was like a Disney Channel sort of movie, Freaky Friday, the most recent one, the 2018 one.
yeah, I looked this. I'll bring it up just for the heck of it. See, it got really bad ratings, according to
Yeah.
most people seem to hate this one. So no offense to the young woman that's in there. She and the woman that's playing the part, but yeah, obviously they didn't do a job that appealed to a lot of people, unfortunately. So,
Right.
but anyway, yeah, we're talking specifically about the 2003 movie, and I'm not sure if I saw this 1976 movie. You said you have seen it.
I have, but I'm not. I haven't seen it as recently. Obviously, as recently as the other one. I think I saw it probably like 4 or 5 months ago. I think I liked it. It was good. It was a little like all over the place. And some of it was like obviously it's an older movie and it's like in that time, so it's not, some of it is not as like appealing or like relevant to me, I guess. So
Gotcha. You get to see a young Jodie Foster in that one, so that's kind of interesting. But other than that, yeah, I'm not sure. As soon as I saw Jodie Foster, I was like, yeah, I recognize it, but it's like, yeah, I don't really remember very much. I'm like I said, I may have seen it, may have not. If something I may have saw when I was watching TV one day and I just forgot about it. So, but this new one, the 2003 one, I had never seen before. I was kind of hesitant when you suggested it because Lindsay Lohan's in it, and I'm not a really big fan of her in real life with all her drama that's been going on. So. But it was a pretty decent movie. I overlooked that, so I could try to enjoy the movie. And the other person that's in it that I'm not too big of a big fan of was Mark Harmon, the guy that played the love interest for what's her name? I can remember Mark Harmon's name, but I can't remember who's
No,
the
I forget her name too all the time. No offense to her, I love her, but like I forget
she's
her
always,
name.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie
There
Lee.
it is.
Yeah,
I always want to say Jane Lynch, but it's not. Like I think it's not even close to Jane Lynch, honestly. So
yeah. I agree with you about Jamie Lee Curtis. She's always good in everything she's in. So, um, but yeah, those and like I said, Mark Harmon is just one of these things. I don't know. It's nothing bad. He's never done anything bad. It's just something about the guy. Just like I just kind of get turned off when I see him for some reason. So, but other than that, like I said, I focused away from that and just looked at the movie as for what it was, and it was definitely much better than I thought it was going to be. It was a good movie. I would definitely recommend it for sure. I wouldn't say it's my all-time favorite by any stretch, though. So, as far as the plot, basically, it's pretty straightforward. If you're familiar with this, the mother and the daughter switch places, and they see what each other's world is like. So, and as far as you said you really liked this movie. Would you like to describe it as far as what you liked?
yeah, I always see it through rose-colored glasses. I like grew up watching Lindsay Lohan in movies, and I grew up watching this movie. Me and my mom used to watch it a lot, and first of all, I love the song by the Turtles. So the fact that it starts out with that is great. And I guess I would describe it, for me it's nostalgic. So there is that. But basically what happens is like it's clearly set in its time. It's clearly like, early 2000s. This like Lindsay Lohan plays Anne, I think.
Anna.
Anna, there it is.
Yeah.
She plays Anne, and her mom fight a lot, and her dad had recently passed away, and her mom is getting remarried. Her mom is a therapist, and Anne is one of the less popular girls in school. It seems like she's kind of into like punk and stuff like that, and she's trying to embrace rock and roll, and she has a band, and she plays guitar and everything like that. And her band is in the garage phase, as she says in the movie. And then her and her mother go to a restaurant where I guess they argue, and then the restaurant owner puts like a spell on them or something and switches their places. It's kind of shaky as to how they switch places, but they do. They wake up in, each other's bodies, and then they try to go through their day as each other, and they realize that it's really hard. And I think they both, basically through the movie, they both find more empathy in their hearts for each other and all that. And the general message of the movie is kind of the same through all the movies, is like, try to see things from other people's point of view, that kind of thing. And then I think the reason why they're fighting is because she wants to go and play with her band at the Wango Tango, this like concert place where they could really get like seriously discovered or something like that. And it's like a once in a lifetime chance and all that. But it's on the night of her mom's wedding rehearsal dinner thing. And so that's obviously a big clash, and that's why they fight. But she ends up getting to go to the what is it? It's not the rehearsal, the band it's like the concert sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The audition, there it is. She ends up getting to go, and her mom realizes how like difficult it is to stand up on stage and play the guitar, and she really has like this big appreciation moment for her daughter for like being so brave to play the guitar. And then at the rehearsal dinner, her mom tells her to say that she needs to put off the wedding, and that he'll understand. What's his name? The dad? I still don't remember the name. I'm just bad at names.
Mark Harmon?
Yeah, Mark Harmon. That he'll understand and all that stuff. And then an earthquake happens, and everyone can feel it this time. And then they switch places, and then they keep going with the rehearsal and the wedding and everything. It's great.
Right. Now, for the convenience of plot, they changed back just at the right time, of course. But when they first, why I bring that up is because when they first changed, they didn't change till like the night when they went to sleep that night. So the first time, it's like it was a delayed changeover. They opened the cookies, there was an earthquake, but they were still in their same bodies. It wasn't until they went to sleep that night that when they changed. When they changed back, it was like instantaneous. So they didn't have to wait till they went to sleep or anything. So for the convenience of plot, they went right back to the way they were before. So, but no, it was pretty good. The the situations that they have to go through. I thought the thing with the teacher was a little overdone a little bit. The teacher was like this guy right here. He was basically had it in for the daughter because he got jilted because he wanted to go out with the mother when they were in high school apparently, and he was angry because he got rejected, and so he was taking on the daughter. I think that's kind of a Hollywood thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that would be like that in real life. That's like, I don't know, maybe, but it just seems a little going overboard. I mean, I taught for quite a few years, and I would never hold something against somebody for any reason. If I was had a parent, the parent of one of my students did something of any kind, I would never hold it against the student. That's just weird, and that whole concept. They're not the same person. So, but I mean, for the sake of the story, they had to have a meanie in there, I guess, so to make them look bad.
I never thought of that. I never thought about the logistics of that. But you're totally right. Oh my god.
What I really like, I did like, there were some jokes in here that were pretty funny. One of the ones that did stand out was when Anna, excuse me, when she looks at she's looking through her mother's eyes and she's trying to read and she screams out loud, "You're blind! I can't see anything," or something.
Oh yeah. And the one that me and my mom always laugh at when Anna is in her mom's body and she's at the it's the talk show when she's talking about her book, she's in her head she's trying to read it and she's saying Sini Sensi. That's all that always makes me and my mom laugh because she can't, read the title. I think it's funny. And her whole performance at the talk show was funny. I think that whole thing was great.
Did I miss a part on the agreed, it was really the whole thing was done pretty well. Did I miss something in there because there was a part in the movie where they said that she was kicked off the show by the host? And I was like, wait, what? Did I miss that? Did they actually show that, or is that like something I missed?
Oh no, they don't show that. It's just like she gets up on her seat and she starts dancing and screaming and stuff. So we just have to assume that she got thrown off the show because that's not the kind of behavior that they want on such a show,
Okay.
That's what I get from it anyway. It's like she's being a little too rock and roll and you can see from the way the host is dressed up, it's more like it's a daytime talk show. It's not hard hitting. It's not supposed to be very, it's not supposed to rile up anyone. It's just supposed to be calm,
Yeah. Okay. But I would think though that if you have the audience riled up, happy and cheerful, you wouldn't want to get rid of the guest on the show. That doesn't make any sense. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's one of those. How sometimes on live TV, there are like people who like start swearing and stuff like that. They couldn't do that in a kids movie, so I think maybe this was like her like standing up and shouting and stuff was kind of like how in real life people get thrown off shows for swearing and stuff like that.
Oh,
and being like too aggressive and stuff like that. I think that they just couldn't do that with like a kids movie.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Maybe. I don't know.
That makes more sense. Yeah, because like I said, the audience seemed to love her. It's like,
yeah.
So that was kind of lost me. And of course, the one thing that as the story progresses, the Anna's love interest, the young guy, I don't remember his name at all. Jake. Okay, he has a falling for the mother, or what he thinks is the mother. Excuse me, it's actually her. but he's in her mother's body, but he falls for the mother, Jamie Lee Curtis. How do I say that? It's kind of so he, but and the thing that was kind of weird was at the very end, you're like, well, how are they going to resolve this? Because it's a Disney movie, and they're probably going to have them get together at the end. And the way they have them get together at the end was she plays a song, she plays her guitar, and then he likes her just simply because she plays the guitar. But before, he was completely repulsed by her. And all of a sudden now he likes her a lot. I was a little too quick. That was the only thing that made him won him back was the guitar. So her playing the guitar. Is that right?
Well, I never said there were no holes in this plot. I see what you mean. I don't know. I never actually thought about that very hard either. But I mean, like thinking about it from if I saw it for the first time now, I'd be like, oh, that's really gross that he is like, I don't know, that I don't know. It seems kind of weird.
Well, especially since he's in high school.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't think she makes him fall for her with playing the guitar. Maybe, I don't know. I think the main thing that he likes about her, because it's high school, it's not very, deep emotions, is that she plays the guitar, she likes rock and roll and stuff like that. So I think then he's like, oh yeah, okay, I like this girl, yeah,
Yeah.
very deep emotions.
Yeah. The as far as the I guess the I'm trying to think, was there anything else that really stood out? Anything that you really liked? Anything else you really liked about this movie?
I love the scenery. I love everything about that. I love their house. I love these are things that I mean it's just like superficial stuff, but I really love the scenery. I love how it really does look very like early 2000s. That kind of stuff. I guess as for like scenes.
Could you step back for a second? Remember,
Yeah.
you were talking about the scenes. The early I guess I'm a little lost. I mean, is there really that much of a difference between early 2000s and like now? I mean, I guess there is. I just never really caught on to it, I guess. Is it?
Yeah,
really
the clothing. It's like I feel like when you watch a movie from the early 2000s that's set in the early 2000s, to me it's like very obvious because I remember seeing people wearing those clothes and like I was too young to buy clothes that I like really wanted and like wear whatever I wanted. But I was always like, oh, when I grow up I'm going to wear the purple dress that she wore in that movie, or I'm going to wear the outfit that her best friend wore or something like that, and it's just that kind of thing where it's the clothes kind of remind me of the early 2000s, and the hairstyles of the friends kind of remind me of that too. So
I guess my problem is for the past 20 years I've been dressing pretty much exactly the same, so I don't really look at styles very much. So I just wear black button-down shirts and khaki pants all the time. So I guess I never really realized that was that much of a difference, to be honest. So
that's fair. But yeah, the hair and the clothes are very much like.
Oh, and yeah, the same thing with my hair. My sister always says I have the same hairstyle I've had ever since I was in high school. So, so you were saying about your favorite scenes?
Let me think. I really do like the talk show one. I love the one where she goes shopping. I always love a shopping scene. There's nothing much else to say. I just love a shopping scene. I love a makeover scene. I like when I like when she's playing on the stage. I think that's fun. When she actually has to experience what her daughter loves and what her daughter goes through. I think that's really interesting and fun to see. Yeah. That's kind of it.
I will say the Jamie Lee Curtis is always, well, not always, but most of the time has her very short hair, and it's very commonplace for her. It's her style. But I remember when I was much younger, when I first saw her and other women wearing this kind of short hair, that was very different for the time period. So it really stood out. It was like almost like they were being. It's like, whoa, what are you doing? You're not supposed to wear your hair that way, kind of stuff. But obviously she's worn the same hairstyle since the 1980s, so it's not really. But it's really the funny part was when she went to style her hair, it's like she doesn't have much hair to begin with. So when she tried to redo her mother's hair, wasn't really much she could do to it. So
That's true. I mean, I do think it definitely did something different. I think her mom before, like she got the haircut, kind of has the kind of hair that my mom hair has. It's very, I think it is like sensible hair. It's like it's not with the, there's no highlights in it. It's not like it's just sensible, plain, professional, that kind of hair. And then when I think she has enough hair to make it like if you really like focus on it, it's like now it's a pixie cut, which is much shorter, and there's highlights in it which make it a little more like California rock and roll sort of thing, and there's obviously some gel in it and something that makes it stand up a little, to make it look less like it's like less put together on purpose,
I got you. I guess the piercing of the ears. I thought that was going a little bit too far. Piercing.
That's true. If I was in this position and I pierced my mother's ears, oh my god, she'd go ballistic on me.
Is doing anything to someone else's body is like it's it's. And the other thing I thought they might have touched on, I don't know, maybe a younger person going into an older person's body, maybe you might feel like their body's a little weaker. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the older person might feel the younger person's body is much more stronger in some way. Maybe I don't know, but they didn't really. It might not be that much of a difference, I guess, because Jamie Lee Curtis's character, she was doing yoga or something at the beginning, or some sort of relaxer. So maybe she keeps fit or something. So you wouldn't notice that kind of thing, or I don't know, just a guess.
That's true, but on the talk show, when she's in her mom's body, she's like, I think she said something like, "I was wondering why I was so tired."
Oh, did she?
About this Cena thing. She was like, "I was wondering why I was so tired." And then then that's when she started talking about how like, if you have a crush on a guy and he asks you out, what are you gonna do? And she's gets the audience to scream and stuff like that. That's what that happens then.
Okay.
I think she just touched on it briefly.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't be something to dwell on too long. It'd probably just be so. Something I just went. I guess it was so quick. Maybe I just missed it. So the one thing I did want to talk about was the woman in the was it a Chinese restaurant?
I think so.
That gives them the cookies. She has an argument with what looks like an older person, maybe her mother. Was it implied that they had also switched bodies?
I don't think so.
Okay, because when they started arguing, it seemed like they were arguing the same way that the two of them were the like Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis were arguing. It seemed like they were arguing the same way, and when these two came up, they started arguing back and forth. I thought maybe they had switched bodies too, and they're going to talk about that. But it was hard. It's the way that just the two of them talking back and forth. There's just one. The older one seemed to be like acting like she was younger, and the younger one acting like she was older. That's the way I interpreted it.
Oh, I never noticed that. I didn't really think about that. I'm not sure.
Okay. And like I said, they did like there was no definitive answer as to whether or not that was the way it was, but it clearly to me it seemed like there was some sort of like don't talk to her like that, don't do that, why are you doing that? It was the younger one that kept on being more bossy, like she was the mother. So
well, sometimes me and my mom talk to each other like that.
Okay.
It might just be a mom-daughter thing.
And the other thing was the very end, when they're when having a little speech right here.
Yeah.
I watched some other people saying that they got like watching reviews before we did our little show here. They say they got teary-eyed. Was this very emotional? I thought it was very nice, but I didn't get teary-eyed or anything. I didn't think it was that emotional.
Yeah, but sometimes I am more emotional than I don't know other people. I guess I think I'm easier to like make cry. Like in I think it's Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. In one of the scenes in that one always makes me cry.
Right. Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, I'm an easy crier.
I can say those things that I've had that are very emotional like that for me, but not in this movie. So I guess I thought it was very nice. It was what they said was nice. It just didn't have that kind of a feel for me. So I'm just curious how you felt about that. Was there anything else that was very emotional about this? As far as was it just that one scene?
No, not really. It's just I just think it's like a nice nostalgic mother-daughter movie. I think it'll always make me think of my mom. So
Now, as far as other movies that are similar to this, I was trying to remember how many others there were. There's a movie that was called Vice Versa, which came out in the late 80s. In that case, it was the father and son that switched places. And then there was another one that came out like a year later. It was called Dream a Little Dream, that starred the two Coreys, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. So, are you familiar with the Corey and Corey movies?
I don't think so.
It was basically Corey Haim and Corey Feldman during the late 80s and early 90s made a whole bunch of movies together. So, and it was just one of those. I brought them up actually, so we could talk about these. Vice Versa. Here it is the 1988 Judge Reinhold was in this one. The difference between this one and say Freaky Friday is that the father and son switch. So it's the gender is different, but the thing is that they don't switch bodies. They actually stay in their own bodies. Their bodies simply morph into the other person's body.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's actually, I looked it up. This one's actually based on a movie that came out much earlier, like I think back in the 1940s. Another movie which I'd never seen before, which had the same title. So this is actually, I guess you could say Disney's not original, but that's being redundant because a lot of their stuff is not original when it comes to this stuff. Anyway, they do a lot of the stuff that they do has already been old taken from way back in the past anyway. So, but so the Freaky Friday is not an original concept, obviously, but the story was basically the same thing. The father and son switch places. Fred Savage, who was pretty popular at the time, I'm not sure if he is anymore or not, and Judge Reinhold was also pretty popular at the time. So they had two big name stars, and the movie wasn't very good. I remember seeing it years ago. And they have the way they switch is they have some sort of like device, like a little statue or something, and it makes they touch it, and it basically makes them switch, and their bodies morph into the other person. And of course, at the end, they learn it's the same concept though. By the time everything's done, they learn something about each other, and they become closer and all that. So,
Interesting.
I will say, I was wondering if there was any concept where they switched genders. I think that might be a little too complicated for a movie. I think that might be get into the controversial stuff too, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I will say at the end of this one, Vice Versa, two of the characters did as a joke. There was a man and a woman that did, they were the bad guys in the movie. They did switch and become the opposite. So the man and woman did switch genders. So
there was I watched this show called Wizards of Waverly Place when I was a kid. I was obsessed, and there was an episode. So basically, there's a family of wizards who live on Waverly Place in New York City, and the mother is not a wizard. The father was a wizard, but gave up his powers to marry the mother. And then they have 3 kids, and all the kids are wizards. It's kind of complicated, but anyway, all the kids are wizards, and the older brother and the sister switch brains in their bodies or whatever at some point. So I don't remember which episode it was, but I know that they did.
Okay, that's interesting. So, all right. I guess they tried to keep it lighthearted, though. It seems like a children's show, so they wouldn't try to.
Yeah, it's Disney, so it wasn't about anything interesting. It was just kind of like sibling rivalry, like that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. But it was just one episode they did that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. The other movie I talked about was, let me bring it up here, was Dream a Little Dream, and that's the Corey Haim and Corey Feldman movie. Just bring it up here. There you go. So in this one, if I remember correctly, Corey Feldman, I think. Let me see. Bring this up over here. I think it was Corey Feldman. He switches places with his grandfather, I think. So his grandfather's like at a point where he's actually almost dying. He's like really, really old. So, and he gets a chance. His grandfather basically, it focuses on the grandfather being able to live the life of a very young person again for most of the movie. And of course, at the very end, they have to switch back. And they get it's not more of a unlike the other movies. Instead of switching and they learn something about each other, it's more along the lines of the grandfather gets a chance to relive what's like what he was gets to be youthful again. I guess is the right way to put it. So.
Oh, that's interesting. That's like a nice new take on it.
Mhm. I don't remember it being a great movie, but I do remember seeing it. So, and this, of course, let me go back to that picture again. I'm not sure who the woman in the middle is, but yeah, Corey Haim on the left and Corey Feldman on the right. I'm trying to remember how many movies they did together, probably like 5 or 6. So it was a ongoing gag for a while, Corey and Corey movies. So
Interesting. Kind of like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, how they always are in movies together.
I'm not sure about that. I wouldn't know without that one. Sorry.
Oh.
But who's the other two I'm thinking of? They were Night at the Museum. Who was the guy that was in Night at the Museum? Is that what it's
Ben
called?
Stiller,
Ben Stiller and the other guy he's with. They do movies together, don't they? I can't remember.
Ricky Gervais.
No, I can't remember who it is. Maybe I'm getting that one wrong. Yeah, because it's another comedian. I can't remember. Another comical actor. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not sure about the other two. It might be similar. How many movies were the other two in that you mentioned first?
Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly have been in at least 4.
Oh, okay. So maybe it
Right.
is. Sounds like it is probably kind of similar there. So yeah.
They're the ones that did Step Brothers.
Uh,
You've seen that one.
Nope, didn't see that one. Sorry. Yeah, people are probably saying, "Oh yeah, is it a popular movie?"
Yeah, I think it's pretty popular comedy movie.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I would definitely, as far as these other movies go, if you're looking for something in that genre, you think the Freaky Friday is good, these other ones would fall in that same line. You may like them, you may not. I wouldn't say they're awfully great, but they're not immensely bad either. So they're interesting to watch. So
Right.
let's see, we're back. I've never seen this one. It sounds kind of familiar, but I'm not sure. This was on the Disney Channel. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know if it would be interesting for adults. I like watching it every now and then, but that's just for the nostalgia thing. I think I would still laugh at some stuff, but I don't know about I think it might just be mainly nostalgia based. So
I got you. Oh, let's see. I guess as far as the ratings for we're getting back to our original movie, Freaky Friday. How would you? First off, would you recommend this to somebody?
yes. If you're I guess if you haven't seen it, I would probably recommend it. If you are looking for just like a family movie, kind of a lighthearted movie with a nice message, I'd probably rate it. For me, probably like 7.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going higher than that. That's interesting. Okay. So
Objectively, 7.5 out of 10. If I was going based on nostalgia, it would probably be like a 8 out of 10, maybe an 8.5. Undecided, I guess. 7.5 to 8.5 out of 10, depending.
So as far as Lindsay Lohan goes and Jamie Lee Curtis, are there any other movies that you like with them in?
I really love Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan. I like a lot of the things that Jamie Lee Curtis has done. I forget some of them. Hold on.
The one movie that made her a very popular actor was Trading Places from 1983. Have you ever seen that one?
What is it called?
Trading Places?
Trading Places?
Yeah, with
I don't know.
Dan Aykroyd what's his name?
Oh, I think
the-
I saw it for one of my
anyway.
classes in high school for some reason.
Really? That's interesting. It's a rated R movie, so it's kind of did they censor the part where the women were walking around topless? I'm just kind of
Probably, yeah.
all right. I bring that movie up because before that, she was not considered like a mainstream actor. But once that movie came out, she really sprung out. She really she was everywhere. Everyone was talking about her. So that's why I remember it. So, and go ahead.
I saw her. I watched Knives Out, which is it's a 2019 movie. She was in that. She was great in that. I think when I first saw that movie, I watched it like 3 times in a row. I liked it a lot.
Oh, okay. Knives Out. Is that that sounds familiar. Who's it directed by? Is that I'm bringing it up right now.
I don't know who it's directed by, but I love it. I love a murder mystery, and I love it when they make a good murder mystery like movie. So I feel like it can be kind of hard to make a good movie out of a. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I've just Ryan Johnson. That's who it was. He was the same guy that did the second or the one of the newer Star Wars movies. Was the one that people seem to either hate or love. It's called The Last Jedi. Was that what it was called? It was the second out of the three movies, and that's what I remember. That I remember when this came out, the people who hated the Star Wars movie said, "I'm not going to go see this because I hate Ryan Johnson." So I never had a chance to see this, but a lot of people said they actually liked it. So, is this what else is? I mean, is this really a good movie as far as you're concerned?
Oh yeah, I really like it. I would say we should probably watch it sometime soon. If you haven't seen it, I love this movie. I think it's great.
Okay, your microphone I think is making a tapping sound, like almost like a bad connection. Do you have like something that's connected over there?
I don't think so.
Okay, it stopped. Whatever it was like it sounded like something was loose, and what I was hearing was like a digital connection, trying to like a bip, 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 almost like a video game sound effect. So
That's weird.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was on your end, not mine. So anyway, whatever it was, it stopped. So we're good.
Okay.
It was definitely overpowering your voice for a second there, so that's why I brought it up.
Oh, okay. Well, I just said it was a really good movie. And I also kind of forget the rest of the stuff that I said.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah. What else was she was in? Of course, the Halloween movies. I've never seen them, but I know she's in them, or at least one or two of them. The one from way back in 1978, and then one from way back, the one that was more recent, I should say. So, and
Yeah, I want to watch those, but I am not gutsy enough. I'm scared of everything, notoriously, and so I can't.
oh, I'm not a big fan of those kinds of movies myself. Not because I'm not afraid of them. I just don't, just not my thing usually. So, except, and maybe I've said this before, except for the movie The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from I would say 73 or 74. I can't remember what year it was. That movie was, and I'm not even into that kind of movie. It was really good. I was surprised how good that movie was. So,
Oh.
Oh, she was in Escape from New York, was she? Oh, she was the narrator. That's right. I forgot about that. So,
And she reminds me of Sigourney Weaver. So
interesting. Really? I never thought of that.
it's just because they look like sort of alike to me. And they're kind of the same, similar age
So it's
range.
more a physical thing, not rather the way they act or anything like that. So
Right.
let me see if there's anything. I do agree with that first movie you said for Lindsay Lohan, The Parent Trap. I saw that movie. I thought the first half was pretty good, but the second half was really weak. There was a scene like when they try to get the parents back together. I don't know. Did you like that part of it? I liked the first part, but the second part just kind of I don't know, just didn't seem anywhere.
Again, it's a rose-colored glasses situation. I like all the whole movie. And there might be some holes in the plot, but I couldn't see them when I was a kid, so I ignore them now.
Oh, okay. It's almost like two movies put together, like two TV episodes put together. You have part one where they meet each other, and then part two where they come and show the follow up kind of thing and try to get the parents back. It's almost like a completely different story at that point. So, and it just for me that's the way it came across to me. Like you have the two girls meet at camp, and then they realize, oh, we're sisters. They realize they have the same parents, and then when they get back, they switch places to see so they can see their mother and father for the first time, the opposites. And then when that's when they try to work to get their parents back together. And just at that point, it just seemed like a completely different movie. And I don't even remember how it ended after that, because I really did. I agree. I liked the first half a lot, but then the second part just seemed to fall apart for me. So.
Oh, I really liked the second. I liked the whole thing. I liked how they, well, okay, so in the movie, the father started dating and was engaged to this other woman. and she was after him for his money. And so the daughter that was with the father at the time wanted to switch him back, and then they had to hatch a plan to get him, in the same area, in the same place at the same time, to try to switch him back, and so that they could, fall in love again, because this is a Disney movie, so they have to fall in love again. And they did. Or is it a Disney movie? I don't know. It's a Disney-esque movie, I would say.
It is a Disney, yeah, because it's a remake of another one that Disney made back in the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then so they have to, obviously they have to get back together, and then they basically they go on a hike to show how, and they invite Meredith, the woman who's trying to marry the father, to show how she's wrong for them and how she's mean and nasty and icky. And then he's like, I choose my kids, and then the wife and the father get back together, and everyone lives happily ever after.
Until they get divorced again, maybe, I guess. I don't know. You hope they live
Maybe. That's none of my business.
Yeah, if it was like that in the real world all the time. I seriously doubt with people that get divorced when they really get back together that often. I know it does happen, but it's not that common occurrence. Once they get to separate, it's usually that's pretty much it. So
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah.
I wouldn't know from the movie, because that's not how it ends.
But yeah, I do agree. I did like, in fact, I really did like this first half. So I agree. So half the movie, I would give this one a very high grade. So the other half, yeah, not so much. So.
And the mom in this is very comforting. I feel like the mom she's just, I love scenes with her. It's just very comforting.
Who was the mother in that one? Was it?
I think she was married to Liam Neeson, and she passed away.
Is that her? I think that's her.
Yeah.
Right there. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, interesting. Oh, she was only 45. Wow, did she die? No, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it's not that old. Something. I can't even pronounce that. Whatever that is. Oh, that's a shame. All right. I like to see nice people die like that. Well, anyone die. So, all righty. Well, it's getting back to our movie. I would say
what would
that.
you rate it?
Yeah, I'd say this movie, I give it like about a little less than a 7, maybe a 6.8 out of, and I would recommend it, but just making sure people know that it's I don't know, it's just it's a fun movie to have fun with it. Don't look at it too seriously, I guess. So
Yeah, good movie for kids, family, because there's like adult jokes and there's kids jokes, kind of how.
it's definitely a movie. It's definitely I enjoyed watching it for sure. Like I said, I probably wouldn't go out of my way to watch it anytime soon. Maybe, I don't know. I can't say if I would watch it again or not, but not anytime soon for sure. So.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the new food discovery of this week?
Sure, go ahead.
So, I found this little, like, it's called halva. That's what's on the package, halva. Apparently, it's also known as halwa, halava, helva, and other like such combinations of letters. I think I sent you the picture. It's a broad term used to describe desserts made with a base of flour or nut butter, such as sesame tahini, and sometimes including vegetables or nuts. It's eaten in India, Central and West Asia, North Africa, the Balkans, and of course Israel, and in Jewish jellies throughout the United States. And it says that each culture has its own halva, united only by name, which derives from the Arabic word for sweet, and the fact that each is a sweetened candy or dessert, often an ancient and beloved recipe. So the one I found was from Publix, as usual.
Hold on a second. I'm not seeing your pictures here. I'm looking for all the emails you sent me. It was this the email you sent me today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing. I see the cats. I see our thumbnail for our video, but I do not see that one. It's interesting. Let me hold on a second. Go through these again. Definitely okay. That's not. I don't see. Yeah. Hold on a second. Oh, maybe. Okay, here we go. I found it. Okay, I got it. Okay, I found it. I don't know why I couldn't see that before. Okay, I'm bringing it up right now. Are you
Yeah.
there?
So I found this one at my local grocery store, which, by the way, my local grocery store is being bulldozed because they're building up a new one, which is rude because I shop there. So I have to find a new one. Anyway,
What
um,
if they're
hmm?
building a new one? Won't you be able to shop at the new one once they finish it?
Yeah, but I have to wait for a couple months before they build it. Because they're like knocking it down and putting it back up. And it's, I mean, there's another one that's pretty close by, but it's just the convenience factor.
I,
Anyway, my dog is smelling it because it's dessert and she really likes eating everything, including sticks. Just thought I'd put that out there. And so it looked a little questionable to me, but then it was delicious. I forgot to take pictures of like what it looks like on the inside, but it was very good. You can kind of see through the packaging on the back. It looks a little bit like tuna when you take it apart, which made me very suspicious.
what
But
was?
then
Why would it make you suspicious?
well, because it's dessert, and it just kind of looked a little, when you pulled it apart, it looks a little bit like tuna.
Oh,
Um,
I get you now. Okay.
yeah, but it was delicious. It's like so there was a vanilla one, there was a chocolate one, and then this one is the marble version, which you can't really see that it's marble, but I guess it's just vanilla and chocolate flavoring in there. Um, it was pretty good. Um, if I couldn't eat too much, it was one of those kind of a sickening dessert. It was like it almost got too sweet at some point. But I did definitely taste the sesame, and I've had like sesame desserts before, and I've always liked them. Um, and so yeah, this one was good. I would probably rate it like I would probably rate this once like version of it, like store bought version of it, probably like a 5 out of 10. But I'm sure, and I like, of course, from the article, you could hear that it's there's a lot of different recipes, and everyone might have their own recipe and stuff like that. So I'm sure there are, if it's homemade or if it's authentically made, then it's a lot better. But store bought, pretty all right. Rated 5 out of 10.
Where is this from? Where is this from? Um,
What do you mean?
what country is this from?
So it says that it's the origins are disputed. Some say India, others Turkey, and others say it was definitely Byzantine. There's no doubt that halva is one of the most common desserts in the world. It's like a tahini-based candy, so I get it was definitely, I don't know, somewhere across the sea.
I know we're Turkey, I know we're India. Where was the third country? I've heard of it.
Byzantine. I think it's talking about the Byzantine Empire. I think.
Oh, okay.
I'm not the biggest history buff. Yeah, the Byzantine Empire is a country. The Eastern Roman Empire or Byzantium.
Okay. And this is like is this in the foreign section of the supermarket like we've been talking about?
Yes.
Oh, this one says it's made in New York though. Interesting.
Yeah, I
Joy
think
Bar.
it's just like it's definitely not like a genuine or an authentic it's just like something you can just buy at the store, maybe for a little bit of the delicious flavor of home, if you're from a place that makes this and you don't have like the facilities to make it or something like that.
Now I've heard of marble. What is that? What is marble exactly as far as when it comes to food?
In dessert, it's usually chocolate and vanilla mixed together in some sort of way, not like fully mixed, but in a cake it's like you make I've made it before. You make vanilla batter and you make chocolate batter, and then you mix them together, but you don't fully mix them. So when you pour it, into the cake, and then when it bakes, it comes out looking like marble because there are like swirls of white and there's swirls of brown, and it's like chocolate and vanilla kind of swirling together. And in this, it's like you can't really see that as much. It was more just like, I think there were some vanilla and chocolate flavorings together. It was less of an obvious marble, but the feeling was there.
I got you. Every time I think of marble, I think of marble cakes, and I don't think I've ever had one. So um, that's what comes to mind when I think of marble when I hear about that. So
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure it can kind of be used for anything describing chocolate and vanilla being mixed together. So
gotcha. So as far as this goes, is this something you is there anything else that's similar to this?
I don't remember what it's called. Let me look up common sesame desserts because I've had sesame, like sweet sesame desserts before, like sesame candy.
Really? I never even knew that existed. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think it was at my dad's old work. There were a few people from like a couple different countries that worked there. And there was this one wonderful lady named Mona who I'm pretty sure her family is Greek, and so she would bring in Greek desserts every now and then, and there were some sesame things in them. Yeah, sesame candy, that kind of thing. I've had that before, so I knew I liked that, and it kind of reminds me of this. So yeah.
No, it probably is not what I'm thinking, but is it similar to Rice Krispie squares by chance? Or these look kind of, that's the only reason they have a similar appearance. I'm sure they probably taste different.
They definitely taste different. They kind of have the same. It's sort of a similar idea. Rice Krispies is marshmallow candy, and the Rice Krispies, the marshmallow candy holds the Rice Krispies together. And with the sesame candy, it's like more of a sweet caramelly candy, thick candy mix that holds the sesame seeds together. So it's kind of the same concept, sort of, but it's not really the same flavor and definitely not the same origin or anything like that. So
Gotcha. Okay, it's something I learned. Learn something new. That's for sure. And as far as this candy, I guess it has sugar in it. I mean, is it sweet? I can't
yes.
tell. Okay. Gotcha. And,
yeah, it can be a little too sweet, but I like it.
I brought marble cakes too, just so we can see what they look like. Yeah, I've seen those obviously before. So.
Yeah.
All right, well, getting back to this now. So I see your dog is seems like she's tired right there.
Well, no, she's just trying to act as innocent as possible in hopes that she could possibly get a crumb of halva. She couldn't. There's chocolate in it. Illegal.
Did you give her any? Did she get any of it at all?
No, it's illegal. She can't have chocolate.
It's illegal. It's illegal. What do you mean it's illegal? Does it mean like for dogs, really?
Well, no, legally you can feed dog chocolate, but you really shouldn't because they'll die.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, chocolate. Chocolate is not in like very small. If you drop a chocolate chip on the ground and a dog eats it, they're not gonna die. But it has. I don't remember exactly what. I watched a video on it once. But it's toxic in too large amounts for dogs, and so it's really best not to give any. If you can, just don't give any to your dog.
Oh, okay. I never knew that.
Yeah, same thing with grapes. Grapes and I think almonds. I think almonds also are like not good for dogs. Definitely grapes though.
And of
Grapes,
course,
raisins, do not give those to dogs ever.
And of course, the dog will just eat anything that's put in front of them. Is that what most dogs are like? I've never had a dog, so you have to pardon me on that. But as far as dogs go, will they just pretty much eat anything that's put in front of them?
Not all dogs. Beverly, the dog in the picture, she's like a raccoon. She will eat anything. she really will. She goes outside. She eats sticks and grass. She's ridiculous a little bit. She'll just eat anything. But my other dog, Sammy, he's more picky. Um, like if I try to give him like a piece of lettuce, he won't eat it, but Beverly will. And then my first dog, Angel, the first dog that I had, she was the most picky. She was like a queen. She wouldn't eat anything other than like meat. She was just like, if you try to give me any kind of vegetables, I will not accept it. And she also didn't eat kibble. She would only eat wet food. So she was very like, she was a queen. She definitely was.
Which is the dog that's in your avatar? Which one's that?
That's Sammy and Beverly. It's kind of a blurry avatar, but that's both of them. They're it's kind of hard to see, but they're both in there. Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. So getting
So
back,
yeah, it really depends on the dog. All of them are different, but yeah, some of them do really just eat whatever, and those are the ones. They're like vacuums. If you drop a piece of food on the floor, they'll eat it. Yeah, some dogs. Yeah, you got to be really careful.
okay. Well, I like I said, I never had a dog before, so now I learned something. I have a dog house on my property, but no dog inside. So the and now the halva, is this common? I mean, is this easy to find? I guess, but is it just because I've never heard of it before? So
I think it is. I think it says here that it's found it's like the most popular dessert in the world, and it's found in India, Central West Asia, North Africa, the Balkans, and Israel, and in Jewish jellies throughout the United States. So it's definitely like a cultural dessert. And I mean, uh, I guess if it really depends on like what your parents introduce you to and stuff like that for like cultural desserts, and foods and stuff like that. But
yeah, that definitely is based on what you're telling me. I'd definitely try it out. So it's definitely a try food, and if I'd like it, I might try some more. So
yeah, but I wouldn't buy it at the grocery store. I feel like it's one of those instances of like, this is probably, the prepackaged grocery store version is probably the least authentic and least good version of the food. And if you went to like if they say in the article, if you go to a Jewish deli, there's probably much bigger variety, and they're probably more authentic there. So that's what I would do if you want to try this dessert and you're in America. I would definitely say go for a Jewish deli or somewhere where they make it authentically.
gotcha. Yeah, so basically, Joyba is just they're too much of a commercial brand. We should try something more local. So
Yeah.
all right. Well, I wanted to discuss something real quickly that you said about the tearing down the supermarket. I remember there was a supermarket I used to go to that was kind of close to where I used to live, and to make it more convenient for the people, that when they tore the supermarket down, what they did was they closed off the parking lot, and what they did is they built a new supermarket in the parking lot, and then when they were finished with the new one, they were able to tear down the old one immediately, and there was never any delay about getting to the supermarket. You just immediately switched from the old to the new within like a couple of days. So
Interesting.
yeah, it was just the only problem was because they were building the new one in the parking lot. There was there was a hard place. You couldn't find a place to park for a while. So
Right.
other than that, but it was very convenient in the sense that they didn't shut it down. It was just a building, and it took a while, and then finally it was done, and you were still there. You didn't have to. It was just basically switching from the old building to the new one. So
Yeah, I think
that seems to make more sense. But go ahead.
yeah, that does make more sense. But there's a Starbucks in the near the parking lot of this grocery store, and I think they want to make it bigger. So I think that might also be why, because I don't know if they would have enough space in the parking lot where they have it, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah, yes. So they're basically to share. Yeah, the parking lot is shared with other businesses, so it would be too inconvenient, is what you're saying.
Yeah, and there's a Target like right down, like a couple stores down, so that might be like a problem too.
I'm not sure what this means, but Manda Salve. Sorry, it's from CAIO. So I don't know what that means in the comment section there. Sorry. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that. So let's go take a look at our question before we wrap everything up. Looks like we got a pretty decent response so far. 103 votes. 65% said, do you say both when it says, do you like cooking or baking? 27% or 22% so far with mostly cooking, 10% with no, and 3% with mostly baking. That's interesting. Baking's like barely on there. Well, I guess you could.
Interesting.
I guess technically it does fall under the both category as well. So
That's true. That's true. I would expect more people to like baking. I feel like that's easier than cooking, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because I started baking and then I went to cooking.
the as far as I got to be honest, since I don't do it very much, I often think of them both as being. I know they're different, but I think of them as being the same. So I just don't really think of it. When I hear the words, it just kind of blurs in my head. It's like, oh, it's kind of the same thing. I'd have to sit there and think about it for a second. So
That makes sense. I feel like they can be. I don't know. For me, cooking is more of a dinner thing, and baking is more of a dessert. Of course, there can be like when you bake like a pie crust or something for like a chicken pot pie or something like that, that becomes like cooking and baking together. But generally I think of baking as more, desserts, sweets, things that you eat over a long period of time, and cooking is like kind of a meal.
So when you're cooking or baking, is this for everybody, like in the family, or is it primarily for just for yourself?
Well, when I make soup, my dad doesn't like soup or stew or anything that much, because he's weird. But me and my mom both like soup, so we both eat it. And when I bake and stuff, I definitely cook for everyone because it would be really unfair to keep my delicious bread away from my parents. That would be really mean.
What is your bread like? What kind of bread? I mean, there's so many different kinds of bread. I'm curious now as to what kind of bread you make.
The best one that I make is this one. It's called sweet bread. I think we've shown some pictures of the loaves that I've made on here before. But the sweet bread, it's the one that it can be, um, you can really make it sweet or savory. It's like really delicious all around bread. Definitely not my recipe. I got it off I think it's allrecipes.com. That's where I always go for most of my recipes. So
Hmm. There's a special kind of bread. I don't know if it's special. It has. Oh, I can't remember what it is now. It's it's like mixed in. It's almost like you're eating a small pastry of some kind, but it's actually bread. Oh, I can't remember what it is now. It's interesting because you couldn't really. I don't know. I guess you could use it for sandwiches or something, or if you wanted to, but all right, I just can't remember what it is now. It comes in loaves of bread, like slices too. But like when it comes to certain bread, I'm not a big fan of wheat bread, but maybe because when I was a kid, my parents used to buy it, and it's just the type of wheat bread they bought was just bad. But I have tasted wheat bread that tastes better. It was just the brands that they bought. White bread, pretty much I can, that's common. I usually like that, but I don't think I've ever had sweet bread. I know we talked about that. No, I'm not sure. So.
yeah, it's not really that much sweeter than regular bread. I think it's just a little more delicious. But yeah, I really like multigrain bread. I love you can go at I know at my grocery store at Publix, you can go to the bakery section and get like baked bread from the store. I recommend everyone do that because it's way better than the like loaves of bread from just like, I don't know,
Like
Wonder Bread or Farmhouse or whatever. It's just not. Those aren't. I don't know. It's just not as good. Anyway, um, they have a great multi-grain. I think it's like 22 grain bread. It's really good. I didn't like it before, but then I started reading the benefits of it, especially for people with like ADHD and stuff like that. And the amount of vitamins and minerals that are in multigrain bread is really great. So
Well, I can tell you, we talk about Wonder Bread. This is kind of off topic, but back when the movie Star Wars was out, I used to pester my parents to get Wonder Bread because show you why. When you used to be able to, you would actually be able to buy when you got the Wonder Bread, you would actually put a Star Wars card inside the Wonder Bread. So
oh,
and
that's fun.
and so the package, the wrapping for the Wonder Bread looks pretty much the same as it does nowadays. It really hasn't changed that much. And you could actually look inside the thing, and you could actually see which card was going to be that you were going to get. So, for me, it was like I was so excited. I'd rush to the Wonder Bread every time I went to the supermarket. I was like, we got to get the new card. There were like 16 of them all together. So that's them right there. So
That is so cool.
yeah, and my we would trade them with friends at school and everything. So, but and then when they stopped putting them in there, I got so disappointed because they didn't put anything else in there. So it was just like a one-time thing they did for like maybe a year at the most. And so after that, they stopped doing it. It was like I was so disappointed. I would still walk up to the Wonder Bread hoping they'd put something in there, and they never did. So
That's lame. They should do that again.
yeah, and these are I think these are the very first, if I'm not mistaken, the very first Star Wars collector cards ever made. So
Their Wonder Bread brand. That's funny.
So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap everything up here. Did you want to say anything before we say goodbye?
Thank you for listening. I hope you have a magnificent rest of your day or evening or whatever.
Oh, one more thing. We did give a response before we wrap everything up here. Try some frustrated United something fan. Frustrated United fan says tried baking, but always seems to mess up. So just sticking to the savory side of things for now. So forgot to. Thanks for leaving the comment too. Yeah, and yeah, thanks everybody. And yeah, we'll look forward to you next week. And leave any more comments you like, and we'll try to get back to them. Yes.